Welcome back. You're watching Live from Paris. James Creedon is here with our daily dose of Media Watch. Good to see you, James.
Likewise,
as
Laura.
always. Now, let's start with Le Canard Enchaîné, French publication that has broken this story about Coca Cola because allegedly they're not very happy about a documentary that's gone out on France 2.
Apparently, it's not the healthiest drink in the world for you. This is the big scoop.
Shock horror.
So in any case, this was a documentary. It went out on the 8th of January. Over 2 million viewers.
Did it say there's sugar in it?
It said that there's 8 teaspoons of sugar in a can of Coke, which is a lot in fairness.
Think of your teeth.
It's got extracts of cocoa leaves, stuff like that, right? So it wasn't very flattering. Now, none of this was earth-shattering. I think everybody knows that Coca-Cola wouldn't be the most healthy product in the world for you. But it certainly did shine the spotlight on some of the more unsavoury elements of the drink. Now, let's take a look at an extract from the documentary, and later we'll tell viewers why it's particularly controversial.
Mr. Kent, you're probably one of the rare people in the world today who knows what is in Coca-Cola. Consumers like me have no idea what exactly they're drinking. Why then do you use so much sugar syrup when independent researchers say that it's a health hazard? Why do you use a caramel colouring chemical when a natural alternative exists? And why do you still not admit to using coca leaves in your recipe?
Monsieur, pour votre attention.
Okay, that was a very France 24 moment because you had our Olivia Salazar-Winspear doing the voice of a French journalist who was doing the voice of the original journalist also called Olivia Mogiejewski.
He didn't look very happy, that chap.
No, that was at the AGM for Coca-Cola in Atlanta, Georgia.
Ambush?
It was a bit of an ambush. She actually bought shares. She became a shareholder in order to get into that meeting.
Excellent.
Now, the whole crux of this story, let's have a look on the computer. Coca-Cola threatening to punish France Télévisions by pulling their publicity, pulling their advertising. Now, I think it was over 2.3 million euros that Coca-Cola paid to France Télévisions in 2012. So it's a lot of money that France Télévisions gets from Coca-Cola every year. And apparently, according to the Canard Enchaîné, there have been threats that they will pull their advertising. This wouldn't be the first time that's happened, as Télérama point out. Last year, 2 different banks, Crédit Agricole and Société Générale, pulled their advertising money from France Télévisions for 2 different stories. One, in the case of Société Générale, was an interview with Jérôme Kerviel, the rogue trader, that Société Générale didn't really like.
Oh dear.
And
conflicts of interest all over the place. What do they say?
A couple of tweets on it. Actually, pulling advertising might be good for your
Because it was
health.
Sarkozy who brought back advertising, wasn't it? To France Télévisions?
I think what happened there was he cancelled advertising after the 8 p.m. watershed.
That's right, yeah.
But there was a whole advertising. They do still have advertising at
They say it could be
other
good
points
for
of
their
the-
editorial.
Absolutely. And one other person saying here, actually tell the managers of France 2 that if they keep informing us this well and this freely, we'll give them loads of free advertising. So
brilliant.
one
All right.
person happy with that.
Let's move on to another controversy. The Sunday Times decided to run a cartoon that's been deemed anti-Semitic on International Holocaust Day.
That's right.
Rupert Murdoch has apologised.
That's right. Not the best timing, I would say, for that cartoon. Let's have a look at an edited version of it because it was so badly received. Essentially, the original cartoon, what you see below Benjamin Netanyahu there is dead people built into a wall, right? Or with being a wall being built around dead people. It's a very provocative.
Right after the Israeli election, that's why it went.
That's right, and it was on. I suppose the key provocative element was that it was on Holocaust Day last Sunday. Now, what happened was originally this is the cartoonist here, a guy
Gerard Scarfe, who
That's
did
right.
the Pink Floyd album cover, The Wall.
He's been at the Sunday Times for 40 years,
He's very well
and
known.
In any case, initially
He's apologised as well, hasn't he?
He has apologised. What's interesting is the Sunday Times initially defended that. They said, look, this is a cartoon, etc., etc. This wasn't against Israel, it wasn't against the Jewish people, it was simply against Netanyahu. Then Rupert Murdoch tweeted on it, and he said that this was a grotesque and offensive cartoon, which prompted the BBC, or rather the BBC reporting here on the Sunday Times, apologising vociferously for it. Now, there's been a big debate across the media about this. Haaretz actually saying, no, it wasn't anti-Semitic. You have others saying, look, the truth is more complex than that. But also in France, you had Jewish organisations saying, look, Think of the timing of this on Holocaust Day. Also, the images of emaciated
people
bodies.
say it was evocative of the cartoons that the Nazis used to use.
That's right. So I think it was in particular the timing that really irked people.
Bit of a blunder
Yeah.
at the Sunday Times. Talking of anti-Semites,
Yes.
an aide close to the Egyptian president, Mohamed Morsi, has provoked outrage. I mean, he wasn't mixing his words at all, was he?
That's right. Unfortunately, I didn't pull up the article, but what happened there, and the timing is interesting. Guy by the name of Fatih Shibab Edim, responsible for appointing editors of newspapers in Egypt. He's a senior aide to Mohamed Morsi. He said that the Holocaust was invented by the United States, one of the best documented genocides in history.
Yep.
And that apparently those 6 million Jews moved to the US. I think that would have been a pretty extraordinary operation in what would you say, in fooling historians,
Right.
etc. So there you go.
That's his view, and he's quite a senior minister, so that's pretty worrying stuff. I think it's in the Daily Mail, that story, isn't it?
That's right, absolutely.
Okay.
And speaking of the Daily Mail, I have a couple of maybe lighter stories to finish with in the Daily Mail. You got to trust them for being judgmental, even of inanimate objects. The wind turbine that couldn't cope with a gale.
Oh dear!
And it has been very windy in the UK. So this wind turbine apparently wasn't really up to what it was built for, and
that could have been extremely dangerous if that had landed on somebody's house.
So I have to say, I love
Wind
that headline.
turbines.
Couldn't handle the gale.
Oh dear. Oh dear. James Greenan, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Laura.
That's it for Media Watch. We're going to leave you now with web news.